It started though.
Yes, I waved. It started.
Okay.
We're on. Hello guys, welcome. Guess who I have here? You can't guess. This is Obinna. No, introduce yourself by yourself.
Okay. My name is Obinna Ejide, and I'm a sustainability professional.
I don't know what sustainability means. Do you?
Okay. That's fair enough. So basically, what I try to do is to make the world a better place, such that future generations are able to meet their own needs.
Leave all this grammar. Leave all this grammar. See, this is a timer. Okay. We'll put on this timer for him. But I want to ask you a question. Do you know what this is? I brought some fruits.
Interesting.
Do you know what this is?
I haven't seen this before.
Do you know what this is? Well, this is... Do you know in the Bible when Jesus talked about fig tree?
Yeah.
This is fig fruit.
Are you serious? Where did you get this from?
It's all over. It's in North Africa. It's in the Middle East. It's in Europe. So this is fig tree. So I brought it for us to enjoy. So do you know how to eat fig?
Yeah, I would look at you then.
I mean, you just need to slice off this place.
So I mean, knife here.
We have to do it naturally.
Okay, no wahala now. As Ninja boys will be.
Slice off this place. Then you have to tear it open. So this is how the fig looks. Exactly this way.
Wow.
So you tear it open.
You guys can see, eh?
Then you eat. You eat the whole flesh.
Including the back?
Yeah. So this fig.
It's actually good.
Obinna lives in Sweden, in Stockholm, and he's been living here for close to a year or more than a year, yes. And he has lots of experiences to share. So I want us to hear from Obinna. Life in Sweden. Why did he move to Sweden? He's from Nigeria. Why did he move to Sweden? How has it been with him leaving Nigeria to Sweden? So let's rewind back a bit.
Okay.
So, Obinna, where did you study in Nigeria? When did you graduate? What were you doing in Nigeria? Why did you leave Nigeria? Why Sweden? Let's start from there.
I mean, you guys know why I left Nigeria, but let's rewind.
I don't know.
Let's rewind back to what I studied. So, first of all, I grew up in Lagos. I attended my primary, secondary.
Last giddy boy.
Yes, so Lagos boy. So my primary, secondary education was there. My mom was a teacher, so sometimes I found myself in her classroom. Yeah, in public secondary school. Then my university, I had to travel to Enugu State, Nsukka City, precisely where I did biochemistry in my first degree.
Biochem?
Yes, biochemistry, University of Nigeria. So, but I mean, with most biochemists, it's almost like we didn't want to study the course. We found ourselves there because we wanted to do medicine.
Interesting.
Yeah. So during the studies, I knew I had no interest practicing biochemistry. So by the time I graduated, I found myself working in a bank in Nigeria.
Biochemist works in the bank, missing chemicals in the bank.
I mean, it's not unusual to find a lot of biochemists working in the bank.
He wanted to be a doctor. Then he studied biochemistry and he became a banker after studying biochemistry. Nigeria is a wonderful place, you know.
Yeah, it is. So I finished. I found myself in the bank. I wasn't really.
How long did you work in the bank?
I did banking for a year and 6 months.
Okay. Yeah. Then after banking.
So after banking, I was still trying to find what I really, really wanted to do because I wasn't really having a good time in the bank then. So.
But wait. Biochem to account officer in the bank.
Yes, but that was.
Is it accountant biochem?
But let me just say this here. When I left Nigeria, I wasn't working as a banker.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I was working as a social investment advisor with a multinational company in Port Harcourt.
Interesting.
So I left banking in 2017 actually.
Okay.
I did a lot of research. I wrote some articles online, and yeah, I found myself in the development sector, but funnily and interestingly in a private organization
That's interesting.
in Nigeria. Yeah, so yeah, I worked there for about 2 years plus before I decided that okay, I think I want to increase my capacity in sustainability and applied for an admission in Sweden. Yeah.
Which school?
Blekinge Technical Scholar.
Okay.
It's called
You schooled in Blekinge Technical
yeah BT
School.
Hub. Yeah, BT Hub.
You studied
I studied strategic leadership towards sustainability.
a master's program.
Yeah, a master's program.
So, how did you fund your education? I never knew that bankers were so rich.
Well,
I mean, moving from Nigeria to Sweden
yeah,
to study is quite expensive.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, that was like my second attempt at making a move to study outside. So, I mean, the first one I had like a part tuition scholarship, but the remainder was really a lot for me at the time. So, of course, when I was applying to Sweden, I knew it was really, really capital intensive. So, I decided to look out for scholarships. I applied for the SI scholarship, that's the Swedish Institute
Scholarship, yeah.
but it didn't really work out.
I took his place. I applied, he applied, I got it. He didn't.
Yeah, but I'm happy you are here. I mean, both of us are still here. That's what matters at the
So,
end.
when you applied for SI didn't work out. What happened?
Yeah, so I almost gave up because it seemed like there was really no other opportunity. And at the time, I didn't even know that my university had like their own scholarships. So by the time I discovered it, the deadline had passed. So I was just thinking, what am I going to do? I was in my room in Port Harcourt then, just thinking and thinking, and I was like, okay, maybe if I offer something to my department, they would be willing to grant me a scholarship. So
After the deadline.
yeah, after the
This is
deadline,
interesting.
yeah, so I started doing a lot of readings about the people who had been admitted in the past into my program, and I found out that there was really like a disparity between the number of Africans and the number of other students from other nationalities. So there was this inequality of admissions, or
Scholarship admissions as well.
not just admissions.
Just
like,
admission.
Yeah,
Okay.
just admissions. Like, so, of course, I could deduce at the time that it was partly because of the situation I found myself at that time, which was funding. So I decided to write to my department. I wrote a 2-page proposal to them.
Interesting.
Yeah, that I was going to help them to balance that, like bring more people from our region, Africa, into the program. It's going to increase the visibility of the program. So they found it interesting. But interestingly too, they didn't give me a scholarship because of that. In fact, they told me they couldn't give me a scholarship because it was beyond their own, capacity.
I didn't know you had this story.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So what happened was that one of the program, like all the directors at the time, advised me to apply to the alumni network.
Okay.
Yeah, so the alumni network had like a body. It's an NGO that they instituted, which grants a few persons scholarships into the program. So it's funded by the alumni network as well as other private.
That's how you got a
individuals.
scholarship.
So that was how I got a tuition
Oh my God.
scholarship.
This is quite a story. Let me get the journey. You knew you wanted to study abroad.
Yes.
You started making a move. You applied for SI scholarship. SI scholarship didn't go through. You found out that your university had an internal scholarship. You applied, but you couldn't apply for it because the deadline was over. But you didn't give up.
Yeah, I didn't.
You decided to study the university, make a research on your own, find out that there is need for diversity.
Yeah.
Then, based on that, you sent them a proposal, established a communication.
Yes.
And they linked you to another part of the university.
Yeah, like
an alumni.
Yes, the alumni.
The alumni ended up giving you a scholarship.
Yes.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you worked for it. Even though maybe the scholarship was not because of your proposal, but it was part of the journey. And if you didn't make such moves, no scholarship for you.
Yeah, I would also say it's time and chance too, because the time I asked for, or I submitted that proposal, there was still room for the scholarship to take in applications.
More persons, yes.
Applications,
yes.
because it was like either a week or some days after, beyond 1 week for
The final
the deadline. Yeah, the final deadline. So I was still lucky.
Wow, 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 wow. That's quite a story there.
It
So,
is.
but what does the scholarship cover?
The scholarship at the time covered my tuition fees. So, I mean, this is not really for communication purposes now, but the name of the institution is Stratlead. So, Stratlead really gave me a full tuition scholarship, which was exactly what I needed at the time. Because if I look at the other colleagues, my other colleagues who, got a grant too from them, it was really partial. It wasn't a full,
A full.
yeah, tuition scholarship. So, they gave me a full tuition scholarship.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, how did you apply? Is it by just indicating interest, or you write motivation letters?
Okay.
What's the application process?
Okay, so the process was I needed to, write a motivation letter that answers like 5 questions, which they already, had on their website. So of course, other documents like your admissions, your transcript, CV, yeah. So, but the questions were really, really like, personalized in a way like, okay, how are you going to help the organization, when we give you the scholarship?
So that means even if you didn't do well in your answers, you couldn't have gotten.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I would say it's possible. But what helped me, or I would say what's helped me with my application was that almost every question that they asked me to respond to was already covered in the proposal I wrote. So I just needed to just change a few things, and that was it. But everything was already covered in the proposal I wrote to my department.
So okay, the scholarship covered your full tuition, so you had no need paying any tuition to the university.
No, I didn't.
But you had issues. You had other needs like visa, flights, accommodation, living expenses in Sweden.
Yeah.
So since at this time you were in Nigeria, right?
Yes, I was.
What did you think? How did you think you would cover this? So you already had a budget mapped out for it?
Okay, so at the beginning of the year, that was last year, 2021, I already did have like my own budget for all expenses that excluded like my stay in Sweden. So everything that I needed to do for, from the application process till when I was going to, maybe leave Nigeria was, well, almost covered by my own, budget, like my own plan. So there's something I would also want to mention here, like goodwill is very important, goodwill among people. So at the time when this scholarship came, it was very easy for people to like, start contributing, like,
supporting you.
Supporting me.
I mean, you've gotten this.
Yes, I've gotten this. So it's like, okay, you have something, and it's easy for you to communicate to others that this is what I have and this is what I need now to, So, but at the time, I had good income to take care of my needs as a single person. So I bought
You're not married?
Yeah, I wasn't married.
He's single and searching. Please tell us what's the specs.
Okay.
Let's talk about that briefly. What's the spec? He's single and searching.
In a lady, yeah?
Is he a lady? People are interested in different.
No, I'm very strict.
You're very strict.
Yeah.
This is a free world.
Yeah.
People are interested in different. So you're interested in a lady?
Yes, I am. But now, no. Not for now.
Oh, you're not searching at the moment?
No.
Okay. In case you start searching tomorrow, when you start searching, what will you likely search for?
What will I likely search for?
Believe me that people in the comment section want to know.
Okay. I mean, my mom is very fair, so I'm very attracted to very fair ladies.
Americana?
Not Americana, like,
wait,
light skin.
Will you marry, since you're in Sweden, will you marry someone in Swedish? Or you want an African fair? That's
a very tough question to answer because, I mean...
an European. Do you want to marry an European?
It's tough because of some cultural,
Okay. Let's forget about race. Let's talk about your specs as a human.
Okay.
So what are the specs? She has to be fair.
Yeah. And she has to be very industrious.
Okay. I get
That's
that.
a spec.
I get that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, I've learned from my life because
fair, industrious.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah, and I mean, people have helped me a lot, so I need someone who also acknowledges that a lot of people are vulnerable. So I really like it when
Okay,
someone
okay,
is
it's
very
okay, it's
kind.
okay, it's okay. You are talking about things we cannot see. I mean, when I see the person, I
Oh,
want
when
to
you see
know.
the person,
So you are talking about industrious, kind
yes,
people
fair,
who
yes.
leave those ones. We come to that. Let's talk about the ones I can see.
Oh,
I can
the
see when
physical.
she's fair.
Okay, the ones you can
See,
see.
yes, I can see when she's fair. What else can I see?
What else can you see?
Yes.
Well,
Because many people will be sending me their photos. You know, look at him, very handsome guy,
Single.
single. Search
Oh my,
we'll start
this guy.
searching in the future. So
Yeah, so
fair.
I like it when it's very, like robust, when they are a little
Then
robust.
forget about Europe.
Yeah,
Forget
so,
about Europe. You have to go to Africa.
So,
You have only one choice now, Africa, Nigeria.
but interestingly, it's not just African ladies that you find that are very, like,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
Don't describe. Don't spoil me, please.
Excuse me.
Just go ahead.
Okay. So, but yeah, I've met quite a number of persons from other parts of the world. So I think
Like which part of the world?
some parts. I think in maybe is it Venezuela?
Okay, Latin
Yeah,
America,
Latin America,
and
yeah.
also the Middle East. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have this our African body type.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. But Europe, no. It has to be a
Yeah.
miracle, you know.
Yeah.
So I've seen your spec. So guys, let's go back to what we were talking about.
Okay.
Scholarship, life in Sweden. So when you left Nigeria, when you entered the plane, did you have your 1 year budget sorted out, or 6 months budget, or 1 month budget, or 1 week budget? What do you have sorted out when you left Nigeria?
When I left Nigeria, what I had sorted out besides the school fees, which we've discussed already, was my accommodation for like the next 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So because I came pretty late. School started August. I came in September, and I knew I had like enough money for my
The whole of the
living
year.
expenses for the remainder of the year. Yeah, the remainder of the year. So.
Okay.
So that was what I had sorted out. But like I mentioned before, goodwill is very strong, because there was someone that I had worked with in the past, and the funny thing was I had never even met this person, like physically, and the person decided to cover, as in gifted me some money that was able to cover like 5 months rent
In Europe.
Yes, in Europe. Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
yeah, it is.
I mean, a month rent here, average rent in Stockholm for a self-contained room, the regular one you find in Nigeria, a room with your bathroom, your toilet, your kitchen, a studio apartment. The average rent in Stockholm is $800, 8,000 SEK. That's the average. So if you want to live in a self-contained, you have to, for 1 month, you have to have $800, and someone covered for many months for that. I mean, you need to teach me how to get that goodwill.
It's just being free, like being yourself, the way we are now, talking to people, being like.
But I must confess,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Goodwill
Yeah.
is very
It's
important.
it's
Something that wherever you find yourself, you need to do your best at all times. You might not get the reward at the moment, but do your best, believing that you've done your best. Believe me, it comes back. It really comes back, and that's the goodwill he's talking about.
Yeah, and yeah, goodwill from family as well, because I mean, in such desperate times, you would really know how much of a goodwill you have around your family.
I agree with you.
So it's really important. My family were really supportive, like very very supportive. I won't lie. And sometimes, even when I doubted myself, like, okay, can I be able to do this? They all believed in me. They felt like, yes, this was a good investment.
Opportunity,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was the right investment. So yeah, it's all about goodwill.
So let's say you are now in Sweden. Goodwill of family, friends, people all over the place showing you love. Now you're in Sweden. You've been here for 6 months. Your budget is going low, based on the fact that you are supporting yourself.
Yeah.
For me, I got a scholarship that covered my monthly expenses,
Yeah.
so I was balling.
Yeah, big boy. I saw a lot of your photos. So
I was bullet traveling around the world. No, I was a serious student, So I was not. So now 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, your budget is low. How did you continue to survive in Sweden?
So there is this more or less like I would call it anticipatory competence I have, such that I'm always thinking like, what's the next step? What do I need to do to hedge against any risk in the future? So at the time I came here, the first thing I did was to see if I could look out for opportunities to get a job. So not because no matter how much money you come into this country with, after a while it's going to deplete if nothing is coming
I
in.
agree with you. I mean, a
Yeah.
month rent here is 1 year rent.
Yeah, in Nigeria was exactly what I was paying for my rent was actually what I paid in Nigeria for a year, in a month. Yeah. So what I did was I was looking out for a job. Unfortunately, where I was at the time, it wasn't very easy for me to get a job. But like I said again, providence, I was able to find an opportunity with my school. So I was representing my school as an international student ambassador.
You worked for your university?
Yes, I worked for my university. I still work for them as I'm talking to you.
But you're done with school?
Yeah, I am.
You finished in June, right?
Yeah, I finished in June.
And you're still working for university many months later. That's...
Yeah.
Is that goodwill? Or they forgot that you graduated?
No. It's they know I had finished my program, but they extended the contract.
The contract.
Yeah, they were like, "Am I still interested in continuing?" And I was like, who doesn't want more money in his pocket?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So at the time I was looking out for a job, and you know how it is for people who don't have like a personal number. That's the student.
Yeah, personal number is the social security number in Sweden, and you have to have that to access banking. Virtually everything here.
Yeah, so virtually everything, including banking, because I was using my bank in Nigeria, the bank account I had in Nigeria. That was where I had the money I was spending in Sweden here.
How do you do it? Because I know that there is this dollar limit or foreign transactions.
Yeah, so I had to get like a dollar card.
Okay.
So I wasn't using my Naira card.
Okay.
So I had a dollar account with my local bank. So even the time when I got a job with my university, I had to still provide my local bank detail accounts, because even when I went to the bank in Sweden here to open an account, they didn't oblige me because my contract wasn't up to a year. So imagine that's kind of frustration. Like, you have a job in Sweden, you are supposed to earn money, and then you can't still, access a bank account. So I still had to do everything locally, so money would be deposited into my local account.
I really understand.
It wasn't easy at all.
I really understand. It took me 3 months to get a personal number in Sweden. You were working as a university ambassador to your university, and your budget is now low. You're no longer a student. What next happened? Was there a job waiting for you?
No, there was no job waiting for me. So it was just me being very assertive what I wanted at the time, which was to move away from my current location. So my current location at the time was Karlskrona. There wasn't really a lot of things.
Yeah, that's a small city
in
Sweden.
Small city. So I knew I wanted to roll with the big boys, play in the big arena, which is Stockholm.
Yeah, he moved from, let's say, a Lorraine to Lagos. Maybe from Akure or Abeokuta.
Some persons in a lorry are not going to forgive me for this.
Okay, no. He moved from... Lagos is Lagos.
Yeah,
so Stockholm is like the Lagos of Sweden.
Basically, I moved from a smaller city.
It's like
to a bigger
Lagos / Abuja of Sweden. So now you're in Stockholm. Life in Stockholm, how do you...
life in Stockholm is very fast. It's like living in Lagos. Of course, it's nothing comparable to Lagos, because the transport system here is very, very efficient. So your 5 o'clock train is leaving at 5 o'clock. It doesn't wait any minutes for you. So if you're late, you miss your train.
That's the beautiful thing about Sweden or Europe in general. The punctuality of the transport system, very, very cool.
It's like a very fast-paced city.
How do you land your first job in Stockholm?
Okay, so there is this Nigerian WhatsApp group for students, Nigerians in Sweden. So think, there are so many WhatsApp groups, but one of these WhatsApp groups, that was formed by Nigerians.
I mean, Stockholm in Sweden is like the Lagos.
Yeah.
It's like the Lagos slash the Abuja of Sweden. So where you get, come with your polythene bag to Lagos.
So yeah, it was.
And then you go home with a jeep. So
it was like the same experience for me, because I mean, all I had was just faith, and dreams that I'm going to a big city. I've always been used to big cities all my life. I grew up in Lagos, so I mean, I couldn't imagine.
You're a Lagos boy, so.
But of course, I wouldn't also want to discount the people that helped me, the help I got along the way. So there was a guy I met in Stockholm before I, finally moved to Stockholm, because I came here for like a boot camp.
Okay.
For some days, while I was still studying. So I met a guy in Nigeria, and he offered me a space.
Wow.
To stay, for whenever I find myself, like, find my foot. So it was very convenient for me at the time to move.
You without paying.
No, okay. So I mean, he was also a student at that time.
Oh, okay. So there is not. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
so
okay.
You guys
shared the bill.
Yes.
That's really graceful of him.
Yeah, it was really grateful. Really good kind of him. So I moved down to Stockholm. The only thing I had was my 1 month rent at the time. So
tell us, for Nigerians who want to move to Sweden or Europe, what do you have to tell them? Okay, what I have to tell them is very simple. Do your research, exactly what you want to study. Research? That's for those who want to move through schools.
Do your research very well about your course of studies and its relevance in Sweden. Also the location where you're studying, and the amount of money that you need to take care of yourself here, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all to.
Do you advise someone who doesn't have the full budget to move?
I would say at least half.
Half of what? Like 3 months budget, 1 month budget, 6 months budget.
So if you're doing like a 2 semester program, at least budget for a semester.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Before jumping into the plane down here, because it's really going to affect your studies if you don't have a lot of money.
And I'll add up, find a community of Nigerians, or a community of Africans, or a community to join. They could help you finding a job faster, even if it's some menial jobs to start with.
Yeah, because I mean, the job I got immediately I came to Stockholm was because I saw it in a community of Nigerian students where it was shared.
So Obinna, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, and maybe he'll come again when we find the fair lady. The fair ladies I'm talking about? Obinna is single, not searching at the moment, but he'll be searching in the future.